Welcome everyone to the Sprint Agile Show. Today we have Venkatesh Krishnamurthy, also known as Venky. Venky is my great friend and he is one of the only 15 less trainers in the world. He's also the only less trainer in the Asia Pacific area. Less, by the way, for those who don't know it, is large scale Scrum, and it's a very popular agile scaling framework. Hey, Venky, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Arash. Thanks for inviting me to the show. I'm really looking forward for the conversation. It's been a long time as well that we caught up.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Absolutely. So I remember when I did your certified less practitioner course a few years ago, it was a very eye-opening experience for me, in particular some aspects on systems thinking and lean thinking. Especially today, I would like to talk about lean thinking. And what I thought lean is, what I had in mind from lean, when I came to your course, I realized it's all wrong and I don't know nothing about lean. So can you tell me a bit more on that and those kind of experiences that people go through and when they come to your course and say, wow, this is crazy?
Yeah, thanks, Arash. In fact, I hear a similar feedback from a lot of people when they hear lean thinking during the course, because most of the things in the market, what people say lean or lean thinking is basically lean set of tools. The Kanban, the Kaizen, WIP limits, elimination of waste. These are the popular practices and popular tools that are being used. And a lot of people confuse lean tools with lean thinking. So during the less practitioner course, one of the things that I would eliminate the myth is not to confuse the lean thinking with the lean tools. They are totally different.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, when people think, well, I'm doing Kanban, I'm removing waste, I have an Andon Chord, I have all these tools, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have lean thinking. It just means they're using lean tools. So now can you tell me a little bit more about lean thinking and what does that really mean?
Sure. See, lean, the word itself was coined by one of the MIT students a long back. And it was based on the theses that Jim Omack and others were writing after visiting Toyota. So after the success of Toyota production system, people started visiting and capturing what they were seeing around, and all those things what they were seeing got captured, and that is the birth of lean. And in fact, that was called as the lean thinking as well. But what was captured in the book was mostly the lean tooling part. The reason being, most of the things what people saw when they do the Toyota tours is set of practices and the tools, the Kanban and the Kaizen, the Andon, the quality circles, all these things. And I personally believe that the tools is an outcome of a thinking. And tools are the ones that are visible to everyone. Thinking lies in the head and it is not visible to everyone. So what was captured as, or what people call as a lean thinking, is mostly the lean set of tools because people cannot read someone's thinking. So that's what I say that, and by studying a little bit about Toyota's production system and the birth of these tools, how did these tools originate? Um, there are various theories. Still, again, I would like to still say that no one read Taiichi Ono's mind so far. What we know is what Taiichi Ono has said, or someone else has watched Taiichi Ono doing. These are all the same things that you see. Taiichi Ono never went back and wrote every day saying that this is how I'm going to design Toyota production system. But keeping all these aside, still people say that there are two pillars to Toyota production system. One is the respect for people, and the second one is the continuous improvement. That's where the set of tools is what we capture. And respect for people includes ensuring that we don't create defects. These are some set of principles there, and we build people first before we build the products. These are all some of the things that I would categorize as the thinking portion, um, apart from the tools that we need to focus. So when we people say lean thinking, they mostly focus on the Kaizen, Kanbans, and other things, not on the other fundamental features like respecting the people, which is one of the pillars of Toyota production system.
What is it that Toyota say? They create people first or something?
Yes, they say that they create people first. They build people before building the car.
Mm. So is it
I'm usually phrasing this one, but that is the most popular phrase that I've heard, and that has impacted me quite a bit as well. So we build people first before we build the cars. We build the cars.
absolutely, absolutely. And I remember you mentioned something very interesting as well, that well, there is still one Toyota in the world. Like even though all these companies are trying to apply lean tools and everything, you still don't see any company as good as Toyota, and they're still number one.
Correct. And we won't ever have another Toyota at all.
Why
What
is
Toyota?
that? Why do you think that's the case?
It's a great question, Arash. See, the Toyota production system has never been a design system. It was more of an emergent system. They had certain constraints during the initial days after the Second World War. And in order to remove the constraints, they started experimenting and introducing new ideas. And there were many ideas that failed, many ideas were succeeded. And the ideas that got succeeded in one of the shop floors got propagated into other shop floors. So it was a kind of a trial and error method over a period of time that got culminated into what we call in retrospect as a Toyota production system. So do we really know what kind of experimental experiments they did and how did they do the experiments? Do we really know on a day-to-day basis what kind of decisions that they were making in the boardrooms? Do we really know what kind of constraints they faced on a day-to-day basis? And in addition to all these complex phenomenon, they also had the cultural aspect of the Japanese culture as well. All these things came together and created what we called as a Toyota production system. And since it is not a design system, and you can't really replicate what exactly happened in a period of 20, 30 years,
Mm.
and then try to replicate the same thing, especially in this century. Somewhere I heard that hardly the CEOs get 2 to 3 years to turn around a company.
No. Yeah.
Right? And within that short amount of time, do they really have a bandwidth to create a culture to do those experiments in the company and then replicate many of the ideas which we actually don't know really? What we know is only what we see around. So keeping all these things in mind, I personally believe that there will be no other Toyota
Mm.
will not replicate the same Toyota again.
Exactly. I mean, even I'm sure there will be companies who achieve greatness, but there will be different companies with their own culture, with their own tools, with their own ways of working, which may be similar or maybe drastically different to Toyota.
I personally believe that every organization needs to invent their own set of tools, processes, and fundamentally, again, all these tools and processes are the outcome of the thinking and the culture in the company. So we need to invest more in improving the thinking and the culture in the company, rather than focusing on only on the tools part of it. That's where, going back to what Toyota meant, the popular phrase with Toyota, we build the people first, who in turn can build great products. I think that should be something that we need to follow rather than trying to copy the tools from other company, because that's not going to help any of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to also call out another thing which relates to this, that those tools were emergent from the people. They weren't installed by experts or consultants, because it was the leadership who enabled the people to come up with the right tool to do the job.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, it was the leadership, and it was an emergent phenomenon rather than a design phenomenon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, thanks so much, Venky. It's such a pleasure talking to you all the time. There is so many other topics that I would like to talk about: less principles, systems thinking, doing more with less. All those fantastic stuff. So hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk about them in future as well.
Absolutely, Arash. It is lovely talking to you, and I'm really looking forward to have more conversations like this.
Thank you so much, Venky, and thanks everyone for watching the show.